Bradford's got a population over 500,000, and we've got a economy that generates circa 9 billion, and Yorkshire 80 billion. And I think the one point we miss quite often is that internally we've got huge capacity for growth. I think Yorkshire as a county has always had significant potential. And one of the unique things, because of the position we're in, and we're not saturated like the South in some respects, is we can make sure we set the right steps from the onset. So I think we've got really exciting times as long as we focus. And again, we've got something to take advantage of that the South doesn't have, and that's the capacity. I'd now like to introduce a woman that won't let budget cuts dim the light at the end of the tunnel, our council leader, Susan Hinchcliffe.
Introduction, everybody. Great to be here. I'm Susan Hinchcliffe, and I'm the leader of the council, newly elected leader of the council, actually, from May this year. And listening to Jerry's introduction there, we have more things in common than I thought, Jerry, actually. We are both, obviously, have experience of leading Bradford Council as Labour leaders. We obviously both Labour. We both used to work for newspapers. I didn't know you used to work for a newspaper as well. So my own background is one of a business background. So I used to have a business 5 years in Sunbridge Road, actually, a recruitment agency, which I sold in 1995. And after that, I went into marketing and sales and did that for a few years before moving to London to work for a newspaper where I did marketing. And then coming back to Bradford 10 years ago and working for Business in the Community nationally. I don't know if anybody's heard of Business in the Community in the room, have you? So it's a responsible business charity, working with a lot of large businesses to support them in doing good in communities. And that's where I really learned that actually businesses are fantastic for this country. They create wealth, they create opportunity, but they also have tremendous capacity to do good in communities. So where you locate, how you support your staff to train and develop, who you employ, and how you buy, all have really positive impacts on where you're located. And you have, therefore, a lot of ability to do good in your communities. And I've seen that happen again and again with businesses. I visited UCAN Recycling, actually, the other week, who won the Bradford Means Business Awards. And a social enterprise there, employing people who are long-term unemployed and actually creating benefit and profit for their community. So great to see that. So Bradford. I've been asked to speak about Bradford, which obviously is my specialist subject as a proud Bradfordian. And I have to say Bradford is a resurgent city. I'm very proud as I go round. We have visitors to come to Bradford and I take them round. That's one of my favourite bits of my job sometimes, actually. Because you take them to City Hall, meet them at City Hall, a fabulous building, I have to say, inside and out. If you've never had a chance to go around, the sneaky peeks are on at the moment all summer, and go around on a Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning for free. And then you take them to City Park. When the sun's shining, as it has been, apart from today, you see all the children and families enjoying City Park and playing in that great space. You take them round then into Broadway and see the fabulous glass and marble of that shopping centre and everybody enjoying the space in there. And the National Media Museum, where visitor numbers are up 11% this year. And so we have a lot to show off and shout about, and that is great to see. Although, of course, these are uncertain times, and whatever you decided to do in the Brexit votes, remain or leave, we all have to agree that the pause button has sort of been pressed on our relationship with the rest of Europe at the moment, and we're all waiting to see how that pans out. On top of that, of course, in Bradford and around the rest of the country, we do have big cuts from governments, so we'll be half the size in 2020 that we were in 2010. In 2020, we won't be getting any government money at all. We'll just have to rely on council tax. So that does provide a lot of challenges. But as you heard earlier, actually, I'm very convinced that we mustn't let those challenges stymie our ambitions for our district, because we have a lot going for us. We have a very young city. Nearly 25% of our population are under the age of 16. And that makes us very attractive for business and also for government investment, actually. They need those young people to be affluent and to be workers of the future, because that's where the growth is going to be. We're also a city of 500,000 people, 523,000 people, growing quickly, and will be bigger than Sheffield in a few years' time. Leeds is about 750,000, just to give you some scale, but we're a very big player economically. And our diversity is also a strength of ours as well. About over 150 languages spoken in the district. About 86% of our small businesses trade internationally. So we have global links. And in whatever relationship we have with Europe and the rest of the world in the future, Bradford has a real pole position, therefore, in nurturing some of those opportunities in other countries, whatever the relationship is. So that is all good things to capitalise on. We're a gigabit city. Free Wi-Fi in the city centre and broadband. And of course the digital health zone, which is a great partnership between business in the form of BT, the university and the council, working to make sure that health and technology are tied together. We're really good at that in Bradford, and that is going to be the key to the future. How you service the health needs of our whole nation cannot be done just by people. Technology is taking over, and it's not just on your phone, it's taking over how we run our lives, and we have to make the most of that, because that's the most cost efficient and sometimes the most effective way of doing it. So great exhibition has been a great opportunity for us, actually, because again it's great to be shortlisted with another 3 cities nationally to really see what we have to offer. And when the judges came round, it really was very much about the youth and diversity that we have to show in the district. And it does remind you, showing people around, what your best bits are, really. And I enjoyed doing that. And we've achieved a lot in the past, and we have to celebrate that and make the most of it. City Park, I've mentioned, Broadway Shopping Centre, £33 million investment we secured, not just council funds but government funds as well, into the city growth zone. And that's over 100 shops, bars and restaurants have opened in the last 3 years. Now, at the moment, you can see, if you go down to Broadway, the second phase of that is now ongoing. So we've got demolition happening there, because there's going to be a 6-screen cinema, the light cinema's in there, and that's going to be another new development there, just building on what has already, the success that's already been achieved. So really great movement, and it's nice to see all that happening. Now, government is starting, obviously it's changed quite a lot recently. David Cameron gone, Theresa May in. She's still a bit of an unknown quantity. She's saying some positive things about the north of England, which I'm pleased to see, and particularly about Yorkshire, actually, in the Yorkshire Post last week. They're also starting to talk more about inclusive growth, because the growth that we saw in the past favoured very much the affluent areas of the south and London. It's been an overheating economy, and I think the Brexit vote showed us that people in the north of England just didn't feel connected to that growth. They didn't feel that economic output had actually benefited their lives and their families' lives. That's what it told us. And that's the message that I'm trying to make clear to government now, and other leaders are, that actually, if you want to hold the country together, if you want economic growth to be successful, then all parts of the country and all people have to feel that. What does inclusive growth look like? Well, at the moment, the gap between north and south is about 25% GVA we're behind in the north of England. Now, that's not acceptable. And if they want growth across the country, then places like Bradford, where it's going to come from. So therefore, our connections and our selling to government and making sure they realise how many young people we've got here is really important. So things like transport. Jerry mentioned HS3. I probably differ a bit that I do want HS2, actually, because we need Manchester's become very, very powerful, and that's great for Manchester, but we need Leeds and the Leeds City region also to be competing with that and not to be outshone by Manchester. So HS2 would provide added oomph to the Leeds City region, and actually it would provide more capacity on the regional routes going into Leeds as well, which we desperately need. But yes, HS3 or Northern Power Rail or whatever you want to call it, we've been lobbying hard for that to stop at Bradford, and we've made significant progress in that as well. It'll go Leeds, Bradford, Manchester, and that Leeds to Manchester route, stopping at Bradford, would just take 30 minutes. So that would provide us with great opportunity and great way to access customers and other businesses quite quickly. So transport is key. But John Cridland, who's running Transport for the North, will tell you that actually transport on its own can't do it. Education is also key. And today, I don't know if there's anybody in the room who's had children, got GCSE results. Did they do well? Anybody? Perhaps if none of us have got children, none of those 25% are under the age of 16. But in Bradford, we've done a bit better this year in education. Last year was a slight increase. This year it's a little bit more. So we're heading in the right direction. But it's so important that our young people get the education they deserve. And actually, business has got to be part of that. Businesses can't expect for young people now just to come out of school and be ready to go in their business. The world of business and world of technology is moving so fast that any teacher, however outstanding they are, could not keep up to that and tell them what is required in the workplace. So what we've got in Bradford now is industrial centres of excellence, getting businesses involved from the age of 14 in some schools around the district, so that yours young people are aware of what the workplace is like. They need aspirations. They need to see what the future looks like, so they'll work hard and know what to aim for. So I'd be asking businesses to get involved in those industrial centres of excellence and make sure you lend your support to them. It's not just about money, it's about your time as well, and it's about investing in that future workforce. When we talk about Bradford, of course, Bradford District, I'm a leader for the whole of the district as well. I know we're here in Bradford City Centre, but we also have places like Keighley, which are very successful. And when you look at Keighley, we've got a big manufacturing base there, actually, about advanced manufacturers. So you've got Airedale Springs, for example, a world leader in making springs. And Brompton Bikes actually use Airedale Springs. You'd be amazed how big these springs can be as well, actually. Acorn Stair Lifts. Now, Acorn Stair Lifts, their watchword is that there's one Acorn stair lift fitted every 8 minutes somewhere in the world. Did you know that? And they're aiming for 1 in 7, actually, very soon. And they employ about 500 people in Keighley. I mean, it's amazing, a successful business, started by one man and grown to be a global concern. Fantastic business success. TechConnex as well, and making clamps globally. Hanover Carpets, actually, I was talking to with somebody tonight, which is another great business, which is the biggest manufacturer of carpet underlay in the country. So there's all these successful businesses that sometimes you just don't hear about. And Keighley businesses are spending a lot of their own time leading things as well. So Keighley Business Awards, they're involved in the Industrial Centre of Excellence at Keighley College, Keighley Business Improvement District, and I hope to see business, this is in Bradford, taking the lead of Keighley in that, actually. Businesses putting a bit of money into the pot and leading what they want to happen in that town centre. Businesses create the wealth and the opportunity. And I always need that to happen, because the role of the state and the role of local government is to create the right environment. So the city growth zone that we've got, we try and make planning as easy as possible. We have business advice and support, but councils can't open businesses. You're the people who open businesses. You're the people who employ other people to make a success. And that's what we need to happen. So it's a partnership of success of Bradford. The council cannot do it alone. So I'm proud and confident as a Bradfordian that Bradford has so many opportunities. And devolution, as Joe mentioned, I think is one of those. And that's something I'm particularly focusing on at the moment. We don't have a deal, and it's disappointing that we don't. And you know, there's 11 devolved areas around the country now that are getting additional support and additional monies that we're not getting party to. So there'll be a new programme, a new work programme, which will come forward to help people, long-term unemployed people. They're talking to the devolved areas about how that might work in their area. We're just going to get the bog standard offer that's everywhere else, and which is ridiculous when we've done so much work as a local authority in Bradford supporting people into work. We know how it would work in Bradford better, and we can't get that. There's also added investment money coming forward that we should get a slice of, but again, because we're not a devolved area, we don't get that. And we just need more power over our own decisions on things like transport, on things like skills, on investment. We need to be at that table. So I'll be doing all I can to make sure we get a deal for Bradford, and that we play our part. Because Bradford has a great success story, but too few people have heard about it in the past. I want us to be a confident, outward-looking city, a city that plays its part, has its role to play on the national and the international stage. We have a lot to shout about, but I won't do that on my own, I'll do that with you. So whenever you're with other people in other cities, in other towns, in other countries, tell a good story about the success of Bradford, and I will do so too. And together, we'll make sure that Bradford is successful and a great success story. So thank you very much. Thank you.